So the next two kits for June are the little olive kit and the tall olive kit. Now, the little olive kit is probably one of my sort of, I don't know, most loved kits, in that it was one of the first ones we did last year. So many of you bought it and still have your olives now, which brings me joy. I still have my olive on my kitchen windowsill and it's doing so well. It blows my mind in a way that you can keep olive indoors. I know that sounds silly, but it does. Mainly because I'm not much of a houseplant kind of person, I guess. I mean, I know that there is a place for them and I know that they are really, really popular, but for me personally, I'm not a massive fan of sort of tropical houseplants. So to have a plant that is, you know, Mediterranean and sort of more of a rustic feel, and to know that I can keep that in my home all year round is great, in my opinion. So we have two olives this month. We have the little and the tall, but again, the tall isn't that tall. It's not, you know, one that you would necessarily put outside the front of your door. It's more of a sort of versatile size that you might have on, you know, a sideboard, or just on a worktop, or in your garden, or as a tablescape as well. So it's a more kind of, you know, versatile kit that can be moved around depending on where you want to style. So in your kits, you will obviously receive your plants and your gravel, compost, moss, and your Berg's Potter terracotta pots. Your little olive comes in a 14cm scalloped pot and saucer. Again, a really lovely sized pot. You can move it around the home and, you know, style it anywhere. So it's a really lovely one to have in your sort of home. Now let's start. So you pop your pot on your saucer and then add in your gravel. So the gravel is for drainage, so that the roots aren't just sat in water. And then add in sort of a small handful of the compost. And then remove your tree from the pot. It's in quite sort of, I suppose, clay soil, so it does sort of, what's the word? It does do that, but don't worry. And then you can add in the compost around it. So filling in the gaps, ensuring there are no sort of air bubbles by compressing the compost down. And then this olive will then get that nutrient from the new compost. Okay. And then you need to add your moss. So in your kit you will receive three different types. So the sphagnum moss, the flat moss, and the bun moss. Now, for me personally, I probably wouldn't use the bun moss, but then you can use the bun moss if you take the root system off. So let's do it like that. So, oh, there's a nice snail on that bit. Ooh. So, adding in the, sphagnum moss, and then the flat moss, and then moving that over, and then we'll add in some bun moss. So to make the bun moss fit, you just need to take off the sort of root system at the back. So that's the front, and then this sort of dry kind of neutral coloured area is where you just need to take it off. The reason for that is just so that it can sit in the pot, but it is worth it. It does look lovely. And then you can just sort of push it down. I might need a bit more off there. Ooh. For it to sit flat. There we go. So there is your little olive tree kit, and I'm just going to move this to the side, and then we'll do the tall olive tree kit, and then I will talk you through how to look after your olives indoors and out. So the tall olive tree comes in this ribbed terracotta pot and saucer. So this is a 16 centimetre, so it's slightly bigger than the ones with the lavender. Again, a really good size, and it just works really nicely, I think, with the olive and just that sort of rustic styling. Excuse me. So pop your pot on its saucer and then add in your gravel, and then you'll just need a layer of your compost over your gravel. See how you go in terms of how much you need when you pop your plant in. So, oh, yeah, okay, it's done it again. And take your olive out and then place it in the pot. That's about right. There we go. You can take off any leaves that are slightly yellowing. It's purely just where they've just not had the sunlight they need, so you can just take them off. Okay, and now you just add in some more of your compost around the edges. You won't need much. Just a sprinkle on top. Okay, and now we can add in the moss. So I'm going to start with the sphagnum moss here. And then some flat moss. And there we go. That is all beautifully potted up. So in terms of care for olive trees indoors, much like the white lavender, they need ample sunlight to thrive. I have mine on, saying that, mine is on actually a northwest facing windowsill, and it's absolutely fine. It's been there all year. I haven't potted it on. It's still in the same 14 centimetre pot. I just water it probably, I tend to water my plants every Sunday because then I just know that they're all done. So I water it probably once a week. If I feel like it's looking a bit droopy, I will add a bit more water in, but on the whole, once a week, drench it, let the water run down, tip the excess water out, and then that's it. Leave it in a nice sunny spot, and that is genuinely all you need to do. They are so easy to look after. You don't need to trim it unless you want to. You'll see lots of new green leaves coming through as the years go by. It's a beautiful, beautiful kit, and I really, really hope you enjoy it. It's the same for the tall, you know, no different. Just drench it, tip out any excess water, keep it somewhere sunny. But again, based on how mine's doing, doesn't necessarily need to be like the lavender where it's really important to get a lot of sunlight. It could be, you know, like mine is a northwest facing room. And then if you're keeping them in the garden, it's much the same really. Ensure that they're watered, but they won't need sort of excessive watering. Just keep an eye on them. And yeah, just make sure that they're not sat in lots of water. And that's about it. So that is your 2 olive tree kits.